So Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, the two little hucksters from Montecito, they're going crawling back to the UK.
Witness intimidation, dishonesty, fraud, and conspiracy. Those are some of the allegations against Prince Harry and his legal team.
Meghan Markle's insane list of diva demands absolutely went viral, so much so that Meghan has apparently hit back at the claims. Are you sitting down for this?
It really is the end of the American dream, as Prince Harry's propagandist at Us Weekly admit not only is he losing it, totally full of what they describe as anxiety.
Harry's trial in some great detail on how it was structured, why the journalists have not been in court and why they are not being questioned, and some general guidance on how cross-examination works.
The Sussex team, there's the Sussex PR team, as they can
Yeah, the PR team, yeah.
Some highly manipulative storylines to try to pressure the royal family.
What are we talking about today? Well, I'm going to be giving some insight into this crazy woman and her demands. This is how inflated her big head is. Meghan is making some very unreasonable demands.
Meghan Markle, the Duchess of Sussex. An exclusive in The Sun on Sunday, Rafe. Meg's summer return. The Duchess of Sussex is planning to return to the United Kingdom for the first time in 4 years. Meghan is due to join hubby Prince Harry at an Invictus Games event in Birmingham.
Why the comparisons with Princess Diana should end for the Princess of Wales.
And the Sussex camp is in Operation Security Overdrive, pulling out all the manipulative tactics you can imagine.
Meghan Markle's list of royal demands is wild. Also, her first product of 2026, a leather bookmark?
Hey, Michael, good morning. Yeah, Prince Harry's court case against Associated Newspapers, that's the publisher behind the Daily Mail, is set to begin Monday, and ABC News understands that Prince Harry will be there on opening day.
Literally plotting to return to the United Kingdom, a country that she has decried as racist.
Prince Harry is heading back to the UK, but this is no triumphant return. It's a comeback drenched in chaos, with his huge court battle against the Daily Mail reportedly starting to fall apart in spectacular fashion. Allegations are flying about pressured witnesses, suspicious-looking signatures, paid statements, and even a legal team that includes someone previously convicted of phone hacking. Yes, really. If this case collapses, Harry could be facing a jaw-dropping legal bill of around £38 million. No exaggeration. Just a brutal figure that could turn his world upside down. And what makes it all even more explosive is the timing.
It says the Duke will fly to Britain for the opening of the trial against Associated Newspapers on Monday. He's due to give evidence on Thursday, and oh boy, will that be fun. David Sherborne for the claimants told the court on Thursday that the publisher planned to make exceptionally serious allegations that were wholly objectionable. You know, when your feet are held to the fire and you're asked to account for your activities and they may be not all above board, that is just so incredibly hard to stomach, isn't it? He said he would object to the association's skeleton argument being made public unless multiple express allegations of serious wrongdoing by some of the claimants' legal representatives were removed. Well, aren't they making serious allegations? Anyways, claims exceptionally serious. The allegations are exceptionally serious of fraud, dishonesty, and professional misconduct.
All of this is exploding just as Harry is also trying to push his way back into taxpayer-funded royal security, allegedly leaning on wounded veterans to bolster his case. And once you start connecting the dots, the pattern gets loud. His lawsuit targets Associated Newspapers, the Daily Mail's parent company, accusing its journalists of using private investigators to dig up dirt on him more than 20 years ago. The alleged tactics are straight out of an old-school spy thriller. Hidden listening devices, cars being monitored, private phone records accessed, and personal conversations dissected piece by piece. And Harry isn't going in alone. He's joined forces with 6 other high-profile figures, including Elton John and Baroness Lawrence, turning this into a full-scale heavyweight legal showdown.
I've seen multiple pieces where Robert Jobson wrote one. The one I'm referring to here is the Daily Mail, and I apologize for not knowing the author of that one. But people saying we need to pump the brakes when it comes to the Princess Diana comparisons. For instance, it's Richard Fitzwilliams that talks to the Daily Mail.
The trial is set to stretch over 9 intense weeks of testimony, evidence, and high-pressure cross-examinations. But this is exactly where things start to look unstable. The Daily Mail's legal team isn't just defending. They're going on the attack, aiming serious allegations directly at Harry's lawyers. And that's when this stops being a straightforward case and starts looking dangerous. This isn't about a minor paperwork error or some dull procedural technicality. According to court documents, the claims against Harry and Meghan's legal side are explosive, involving allegations of dishonesty, fraud, and even conspiracy. This is courtroom chaos on a completely different level.
The last thing the Invictus Games wants, and we've seen it when they were in Toronto and everything, it becomes the Meghan show. They don't want that. And this is what they want it to be about: the service personnel who will be competing. That is the primary objective. Remember, the Invictus Game, it wasn't always Harry's personal fiefdom. It was something that was set up with both the king and the now king, William and Harry. It was a sort of triumvirate because they both, both William and Harry understood they needed to do something for servicemen, and they had ambitions for it. But it obviously then developed into Harry's show. And I think that's the problem. It wasn't just, everyone said, well, this is Harry's. It wasn't always that way, but it is now. But we don't need it to become the soap opera that will be Meghan in this town. The security would be absolutely fine for her coming to this event.
Always.
So, I just know it's a wretched excuse.
At the center of this escalating mess is a private investigator named Gavin Burrows, whose testimony was allegedly key in persuading the other claimants to join the lawsuit in the first place. Now, though, everything is erupting because Burrows says the witness statement dated August 2021, the one bearing his name, was actually drafted by others without his knowledge. And here's the part that really makes jaws drop. He claims he never saw, approved, or signed that version before it was submitted, raising massive questions about how this case has been put together.
If they lose this case, the cost is quite high, to the tunes of tens of millions of pounds. This is an absolute disaster. And one witness is so scared he won't even tell either side where he is currently living. My suggestion would be to Harry and anybody associated with this case is to just pack up and move.
Burrows now claims the signature on that statement isn't even his, that it was forged. In other words, the witness whose supposed words helped launch this entire legal battle is now saying the document was false from top to bottom and submitted without his consent. If that's accurate, this isn't sloppy lawyering. It's potentially serious alleged fraud, and it still doesn't end there.
Harry, and we've seen this endlessly from him at this point, he is a bitter, angry man. He's very, very angry, very, very vengeful, very, very vindictive. And unfortunately for many of the people associated with this case, he is dragging them down with him. Because I really don't think this case has anything to do with the Daily Mail, really have anything to do with their supposed and alleged nefarious practices 15 to 20 years ago, like even plus 20 years ago. It really doesn't have anything to do with that. All of this is about salvaging Harry's ego, and he might destroy himself financially in order to do it, and other people as well, which I think is just...
Burrows is now reportedly so frightened that he refuses to tell either side where he's living. A key witness in a major case so scared he doesn't even want the claimant's lawyers or the defense to know his location. The situation is said to be so extreme that the judge is considering an unusual... Burrows' own lawyer told the court he believes giving evidence could put his client at personal risk, and that fear is being linked to allegations of possible witness intimidation. According to reports, Byline Times contacted Burrows shortly before he was due to testify, allegedly informing him they were about to publish an article about him, timing he is said to have interpreted as a direct pressure move rather than a coincidence. From his perspective, it felt like a warning shot, and when a witness reads it that way, the atmosphere in the courtroom turns very uncomfortable very fast.
Harry's lawyers accused of dishonesty, fraud, and conspiracy. So, although Harry is again claiming to want to save the British media, he is, you could say, resorting, quote unquote, to their practices in order to try to achieve his results. But will he really achieve them? Will this really accomplish anything? Again, I don't think so. But let's go ahead and get into the article. It says the Duke of Sussex's lawyers have been accused of dishonesty, fraud, and conspiracy in his high court claim against the publisher of the Daily Mail. Prince Harry, Baroness Lawrence, and Sir Elton John are among the 7 claimants seeking damages over allegations that journalists hired private investigators to place listening devices in cars, blag private records, and access private phone conversations. And again, most of this happened and was able to be done 20 plus years.
Another detail raising eyebrows is that Harry's legal research team reportedly includes Graham Johnson, a former journalist who was convicted years ago for phone hacking while at the News of the World. So Harry is suing newspapers over alleged unlawful intrusion into privacy while having someone with that past on his own side, a contradiction critics say is loud and hard to ignore. On top of that, the Daily Mail's lawyers claim some witnesses may have been paid for their testimony, and once money is alleged to be in the mix, credibility comes under heavy strain. Courts depend on sworn statements being free from financial influence or favors. As with any incentive-driven witness, they might be telling the truth, or they might not. But the moment a payout is suspected, doubt creeps in fast, and doubt can be deadly in a courtroom.
If you have a flip-flopping witness in a civil case, I would say drop the civil case and move on. This is not worth it. This is just not worth it. Mr. Burrows has been unable to attend court as he lives abroad and has been advised not to take long-haul flights due to medical condition. The judge said he may be forced to take a very unorthodox approach of allowing the court to know his location, but not the parties. Otherwise, he asked whether solicitors and counsel could be made aware of his whereabouts on the basis that they must not share it more widely. Mr. Poole said his client was considering his position. The Associated Newspapers is a subsidiary of the Daily Mail and General Trust, Lord Rothermore's holding company, which has agreed to acquire the Telegraph for $500 million. Proposed takeover expected to face regulatory scrutiny in the coming weeks. I actually did not know that piece of information, but that is very interesting.
Now let's talk money, because this is where things turn brutal. This 9-week trial is expected to cost around £38 million, which is why the court held a separate hearing, just to make sure everyone understood the financial risk if the case falls apart. Under British civil law, if you lose, you don't just pay your own legal fees, you're also on the hook for the other side's costs, a rule meant to deter weak or reckless lawsuits, and it suddenly matters a lot here. Most of the claimants reportedly have insurance that covers only about £2 million. If costs blow past that cap, the rest comes straight out of their own pockets, and we're talking life-altering sums. Here's the nightmare scenario. If Harry somehow wins his individual claim, but the other 6 lose theirs, the financial fallout could still be devastating for the group.
Let's say truly going on with this court case. Because Harry seems to think this is going to be a slam dunk for him. He's feeling very bullish about all of this. But he's lost quite a few cases before this. And even when he's won, I think really at the end of the day, he's won sort of pennies. He hasn't really won that much monetarily. I actually think it's good in a lot of ways that sometimes the civil payouts are really low because sometimes it just avoids frivolous lawsuits, which I personally think this sort of is.
Harry could walk away with a legal win while the others are left holding a colossal bill they may not be able to pay. That's when alliances start to fracture, and this story turns even darker. In that scenario, he's effectively pulling other people into potential financial ruin right alongside him. And the looming question hanging over all of it is brutally simple. For what?
To Prince Harry, back in court battling the tabloids. He's expected to return to the UK next week for a lawsuit against the publishers of the Daily Mail.
Most of the alleged actions at the heart of this lawsuit happened 20 to 25 years ago, a lifetime in media terms, back when journalism operated in a completely different world. Social media didn't dominate, celebrities weren't broadcasting their lives 24/7, and the old aggressive tabloid culture that once thrived has largely faded, so chasing this now can look like swinging at ghosts. But the deeper issue, critics say, is that this was never really about the Daily Mail or outdated newsroom tactics. It's personal, rooted in Harry's pride, frustration, and unresolved anger, and instead of moving on, he appears willing to burn through millions and pull others into potential financial chaos just to feel vindicated. This is where everything starts to connect. Harry is reportedly returning to the UK in July for an Invictus Games countdown event in Birmingham, and leaked reports claim Meghan will only attend if strict conditions are met, including entire hotel floors closed off for her team. Armed security everywhere, luxury vehicles and drivers on 24/7 standby, and even requests for bullet-resistant glass at the venue of a veterans sporting event.